Yep.
Yeah.
Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Once again, welcome back to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs freaks worldwide of all ages. We are live and we are here. Well, Shaggy Shane is holding it down in Kansas City with Brian B. Shining from Hot 103 Jams. Let's turn it over to the bad boys of Starcade Media, Noah Groniger and Clint Schweitzer, as they got a very special guest that they're going to introduce. Talk to me, brothers.
Yeah, I tell you guys, we are holding it down here. We're only 2 days in, Nick. We're trying to pace ourselves for what Vegas has to offer here for its hosting its first Super Bowl. Are you doing okay so far?
Yeah, you got to pace yourself, man. You got to visualize, stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
That's the key, and yet all there is to drink around here is pop, and all there is to eat is chips.
Sugar and chips.
So we're not off to a good start.
Carbs, not very healthy.
But Nick, we got to talk to you about this game. I mean, the Niners come in here. Brock Purdy's getting a lot of credit. People thought he maybe should be MVP. I know Lamar Jackson's probably going to win it, but talk about just kind of the challenge the Chiefs face and Brock Purdy and this 49ers team.
Well, first of all, let me just say that a friend that knows a little bit more football than I do noticed something in our amazing, miraculous AFC Championship game, which is unlike Patrick Mahomes, we couldn't tell if Lamar Jackson audibled a single time out of a play. And even if you don't do it much, you'd probably do it 3-4 times in a game where you know the play call is going to get stuffed. And he didn't do that. And so to call him and equate him with that highest level, that's the sort of final initiation, and he didn't pass it. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, I think we all know, knows how to do that. And in the end, without Travis Kelce knowing how to, like a quarterback himself, 11 targets, 11 catches, just showing us the real Travis, who we were missing for a large part of the season. And then thank God he came back when it mattered.
Brian, you with us?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, let's go. Super Bowl, baby.
What's up, Brian?
I mean, look, man, look, fellas, I'm happy to be here, happy for Super Bowl week, but look, I'm low key already tired of all the dramatics. I'm ready for some action. I'm ready for the fellas to take the field, especially after last night after we got booed. I mean, I'm energized like Travis Kelce.
I love that. I think we got a team that's been favored all year long with targets on their back, and to be the underdogs. And, you know, some people call Patrick now the Grim Reaper. He's more like the Smiling Reaper. You know, he's good natured. He tells everybody after they sacked him and hit him hard, great job, nice hit. But behind that is a killer instinct. And in the end, I know too many stories of great teams, even arguably the better team, peaking out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you got to hold it back and get it done on Sunday. And I think and hope and pray that, having been in the Super Bowl now for our fourth time, Andy Reid, obviously for even more times than that, understanding how to time it so that your team peaks with enough adrenaline, but not too much on Sunday.
Yeah, hey, I don't know what you guys feel, but being the villain, I love that for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Me too.
I think this team is meant for that. You know, we are Darth Vader, and you know, we are the team that everybody wants to beat, everybody hates, and it's that time for us to take that role and make people continue. We're the new Patriots. I hate to say it. We are the new Patriots. Everybody's going to dislike us because they hate to see it, people that are always in the Super Bowl. But that's what we do now here with the Chiefs, and it's just been great. I love the booing. I know that's going to give the guys a little extra. And you know, the Chiefs are going to be ready to go. I can't wait.
Hey, Nick, what do you think about Jake Moody? He's a rookie in the NFL. You know, this is his first year in the league. Obviously he's the kicker. He was taken in the 3rd round, 99th overall pick for the San Francisco 49ers. If you could possibly tap into what you think is going on in his mindset as a rookie, he's going to be kicking in the Super Bowl. What do you think mentally he's going through, Nick?
Well, I'll tell you what, before the AFC Championship game, way back in 94 in Buffalo, by the way, I had started using Tony Robbins tapes, and he calls me up because I became I became friends with him, and he called me up and said, well, how you feeling? And before that game, which at that point was the biggest game of my career, I said, well, I don't want to let my teammates down. He said, well, who are you playing for? Who are you playing for? And he helped me reframe it. I'm playing for all those kids with cerebral palsy, all those inner city kids I work for, and it put me in the right place. And I had a good game. Obviously, we had a sack by Bruce Smith, who's become a friend of Joe Montana. If Joe had stayed healthy, we might have beat them too. Yeah. But I think Jake Moody, he's probably feeling similar emotions. I want to get it done. I don't want to get too hyped up. I don't want to be scared. But we have an edge there. We have a guy that kicked 6 field goals in a row right at the end of the season, put us nice victory there. And then he kicked 4 field goals against Miami in ridiculously cold weather. He kicked the game-winning field goal last year. He kicked the game-winning field goal 2 weeks before to put us in the Super Bowl. He's battle-hardened. We have a 3-point advantage in the kicking game with Harrison Butker.
Hey, but I think, Nick, that's a position that, you know, we don't really discuss. We're talking about the quarterbacks, tight ends, all the position players. But just, you know, with you yourself being a kicker, just that pressure that you feel in such a big game, knowing that if it does come down to me, I have to make it happen, or if not, I'm going to be the one that everybody is talking about.
And we've seen it, Scott Norwood. We've seen it. We've seen it happen.
Tyler Bass. So you got to, I mean, it comes down to, and the same thing for the quarterback, right? Just staying focused on what you can control, staying within yourself and getting it done, and not trying to be too perfect, you know? So, and that's a difficult thing. But if you look at Patrick Mahomes, the touch he's had on his passes the last couple of games. Yeah. I mean, he's thrown some floaters when he had to over somebody that didn't go too far. And you saw some other quarterbacks that shall remain nameless that were overthrown or just not on their game. So
I wonder who you're talking
couldn't
about.
Be us.
So, you know, I have a refrain, and I have to tell you, to the Buffalo fans, to the Dallas Cowboy fans, and to the Baltimore fans, and to Kansas City fans, none of us deserves anything. We all have to earn it. If the Chiefs maintain that mentality that they don't deserve anything, they got to earn it every single play. We're going to win on Sunday. And Baltimore fans, oh, we were supposed to win. Buffalo fans, we're supposed to win. We lost so much. We're finally going to win. But in the end, it doesn't matter how you are on paper if you can't get it done. And that's why we love football, because it is not possible to predict what's going to happen. You just got to watch them play.
Nick, have you ever been part of a team throughout your career that had to overcome as much adversity and successfully did so as this team this year? On Christmas Day, the Chiefs gave up 14 points in 7 seconds to the Las Vegas Raiders in a loss. This team has turned the ball over exactly 1 time since that day, and that was kind of a garbage time turnover against the Dolphins in the first round. So have you ever been part of a team that you saw cracks, you saw maybe the sled was heading downhill, but yet something changed? And what would change to do it?
Not like this. I mean, I was there that opening day, Thursday night game against Detroit when we had 5 drop passes. And one of them, the Canaries, Tony Blah, went up in the air and caught it, took it in.
That's exactly what that's quote, that's a quote, by the way.
That sound is on NFL films. He was mic'd out.
And it's like a disease that we hadn't overcome. And then suddenly, and this is something I haven't said all day today, I wouldn't call it burnout, but I think when you've been extended for so many seasons into another month in the playoffs, maybe, and then you win, and that hype, maybe just maybe at some level, it's like you gotta when you gotta bring it on. Once again, who knows? Because we're gonna have to see it on Sunday. But
Right.
to some degree, I think it's okay. Now it really matters, and also it wears you out. Any team every year when you've got the target on your back. But that's why, speaking of, you're talking about the Patriots. How about the Dallas Cowboys? I think we are now officially America's team.
Absolutely. You love to hear it. And Clint talked about adversity. I want to go a little deeper with that. Have you ever seen, I know a lot of people in the media and outside like to talk about, is there finger pointing going on? Have you ever seen finger pointing in a locker room?
No, but there'll be some, what happens if players aren't careful is they'll be asked the same question like 10 times.
Yeah.
And 9 times they're careful. And the one time that innuendo, that tone of voice, that's used against them. And what's another good thing, Marty Schottenheimer was good at this, and Andy Reid, is don't give them bulletin board material. Be humble. You always hear the Chiefs talking about, first of all, thanking Baltimore, what a great opponent.
Yeah.
Talking about San Francisco, what a good team. And it's not hard to see they're a very good
Sure.
team. But being humble enough to see that you've got a real task ahead of you to beat them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Michael, you pointed out the kicking game earlier, and I wanted to piggyback on that real quick. One of the key plays in the AFC Championship game was when Tommy Townsend pinned the Ravens at the 1-yard line. And
Yeah.
Tommy Townsend has been doing this all year long. Have you been seeing what I've been seeing with Tommy Townsend this year, Nick Lowery?
Well, we pretty arguably have the 2 best kicker and punter in the NFL, and that gives us a 3-point advantage, I think, in this game. For that reason, when you're a rookie kicker, it's just the more experience you have, the more you relax, the more you return to who you always wanted to be, and you stop trying to do perfect, because that's when you get in trouble. It's a lot of psychological things about that. When you're self-conscious, you tend to slow down, and you don't have that natural explosiveness. So I think we're going to have a little advantage there, but we'll see what happens.
Take it away, Shane.
We talked specifically about Kadarius Toney, and it's something that we need to bring up here just because of what happened to him last week. Last year at this time, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was coming back from his injury. There was talk about him playing in the Super Bowl, and during the day when it was time for when they posted the actives an hour and a half before kickoff, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was inactive and Ronald Jones was active. And Ronald Jones still, even though he was active, he didn't see the field. Now fast forward a year later, we're bringing Jerick McKinnon into the mix also. So it's kind of a three.
That's different.
So now it's like a 3-pronged thing. So you're thinking to yourself, common sense says, I don't think Kadarius Toney is going to be active. What do you think about the whole situation, Nick? We talked to Frank Bowl and Joe Theismann about it a couple weeks ago. What do you think specifically about this Kadarius Toney Instagram situation?
I think it's great that we can't forget the 2 big plays in the Super Bowl that helped win that game. But I just don't think it's worth it to take the risk, because he's just been too unpredictable. At the same time, to have Jerick McKinnon back, who talk about the exact opposite end of the mental alertness spectrum, when he slid down to the 1-foot line and sealed the game in the Super Bowl for us. Not to mention, what did he have? Almost 10 touchdowns last year, something like that. He had a lot,
10 or more. Yeah.
And he's a guy like Travis Kelce that reads the defense and reads blockers incredibly well.
Yeah.
So watch for a big play by Jerick McKinnon. They're not going to talk about it, but watch for a big play or 2 from him. He's going to be hungry. One thing that happens, whether you're Patrick Mahomes watching that strange last game of the season where you're from the bench, when you're a competitor, that bothers you. The only game I ever played, where I was on the sidelines and didn't play.
Yeah.
We're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night, and I'm watching Eddie Murray hit a 52-yarder, and actually Leroy Neiman, the great painter, was painting me. I didn't even know, and I'm wearing a black Coogee sweater, and I'm pissed off because we're getting killed. That's when Bill Cowher, who'd been our defensive coordinator the year before, had his guys doing the tomahawk chop coming in. But watching that game on the sideline just pissed me off so bad. I felt, if you're a competitor, you want to get back. Next week we play San Diego, and guess who kicked 3 field goals and the game winner? it feeds your hunger, the right kind of hunger and fresh hunger. You're no longer burned out. You're like, man, I miss this. And I think Jerick McKinnon is going to have that, and that'll be one more factor in our favor.
Let's
Do
just
you
talk
still
about
have that sweater?
Yeah, you still have it?
I don't know where that is, man. And by the way, it was Bill Cosby that made those sweaters. Famous, so I don't wear them quite so often.
Well, I got the Mr. Rogers sweater on today.
Bill Cosby was a funny guy, but we'll leave it at that.
Nick, I mean, as I'm looking right now on camera, you got this giant mural of Patrick Mahomes over your right shoulder, and it's perfectly framed in here. And it just something about it, this moment, to just not take this for granted, because growing up, we lived and died with your teams, all of us here.
50 years.
Yes.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Right.
You're going to have 7 years where you have, no corn and no harvest. We had 50
That's what it
years
felt like.
with no harvest. 50 years.
Gosh.
And we didn't die. We hung in there. And then you know what was, to me, was a baptism for us in a way, was that 23 below zero game where Arrowhead was still
95.
pulled out this year, 23 below.
Right.
Yeah.
Filled up, and I just think that should have cemented how tough the Chiefs fans have become, how loyal they have, how much they appreciate this team. But you're exactly right. I think the biggest thing as we get older is to learn to appreciate what we have, and this doesn't happen.
No,
doesn't happen. So we are just so blessed. I want Travis and both Travis and Andy to hang around at least 3 more years. We get a couple more of these.
Absolutely.
And Nick, I just wanted to bring up, because I think that with us Chiefs, we're so spoiled, especially now, that we didn't even realize when the hire for Spags happened, we didn't realize we were gaining another Hall of Fame coach to help this team win Super Bowl, win Super Bowl. Just how special has he been this year, getting this defense to be exactly where they are?
Are you talking about Andy? You're talking about Steve
Spags. Yeah.
Oh man, just incredible. I mean, we have allowed less than 4 points a second half the last 8 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
8-9 weeks. And that's what I said about Baltimore. Baltimore's been crushing people. What's going to happen when Lamar Jackson's down by 10 points? He gave us the ball. Thank you, Lamar. And also, for some reason, they got away completely from their running game, which was wonderful too. So we shut them out in the second half. So Spags is an MVP at several levels. But also, I think Andy Reid, the way that how many of us, if we didn't actually curse, certainly thought about cursing all the drop passes. Right?
Oh, definitely did. Yeah.
It was just like, is this ever going to end? It's an epidemic. What's wrong? And to have a leader, it humbled me to think I wouldn't have been able to handle it that way, the way Andy has, to keep positive energy, even with Kadarius Toney, to stay positive. You're not going to have a coach like that wants you to succeed and reinforces you. And by the way, your quarterback. How many times do we see Patrick Mahomes throw a perfect pass, it's dropped, and then come back to that receiver, even though he just dropped it, and get him back into the game, staying positive?
Yeah. And Nick, I want to talk to you about this, because we're winning with defense. We've had to find a new way to win other than just relying on Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. We still are at times, but we're kind of relying on that defense, that run game, using Pacheco a little bit more. But my question is, moving forward, do the Chiefs want to continue this route of winning with defense? Because I say it's like having a Ferrari and bumper-to-bumper traffic instead of out on the Autobahn letting it loose in Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I think what you do is, you've got a young defense. I mean, Snead and Trent McDuffie, and one guy that's getting a little older, still pretty awesome, Chris Jones, but we got a young Karlaftis. Look at how he's come on. So we got a young defense. So there's no reason why we can't hope for it. As long as once again, you got the salary cap, what happens after a Super Bowl win. But if we keep the core there, no, I look at it the other way, which we keep the defense at that level and we just keep graduating up. I wish to God we'd done one thing, which was pick one more, during free agency wide receiver who is a veteran to make up for
like a Juju. Yeah.
And I have a feeling we'll do that this offseason and just take it to that next level, because once Travis Kelce and Patrick have 2 other options, plus Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Hello. Stop us, please.
I'm just mystified by one of the comments in here. Bang, bang, Niner gang. You're welcome for Joe Montana. What does Marcus Allen got to do?
Marcus Allen have to do with any of that.
He came from California, that state.
Also, thanks for
I'm
Steve
sorry
Bono, and also thanks for Elvis Gerback, by the way.
Hey, we don't thank
Left
for those.
out a couple
Yeah.
there.
We don't thank for those.
You guys are welcome for Chris Conley and Trevarius Ward.
Yeah, my bad. I was distracted by that comment right there. But going back to this defense, though, like, what they've done in this playoff run has been historic. The only kind of game where they kind of let things get away from them just a little bit was the Buffalo game, and even then I felt like they had control. Like we can look at all the fluke touchdown. There's been like a fluke touchdown in every playoff game. The Miami game where Trent McDuffie falls down and they score on that play. The Buffalo game where it was a third and forever.
I'll let Tariq have that one because he did nothing besides that.
Yeah, we'll give you that, Tyree.
Right. It was third and forever against the Bills, and Josh Allen throws a laser, absolute laser, for Snead to give up his first touchdown, and he got a running touchdown. And then you look last week, right? You look last week with the Ravens touchdown. Even that one was fluky.
But see, so man, listen, man, all of those are one big play. That was it. Right. So in reality, it actually, to me, proves the point the defense is doing so well. Here's the other thing. Against Buffalo, how many times did Buffalo have 2nd and 2 and 2nd and 1? They were killing us on first down. We've shut that down ever since.
I agree.
You know, when you look at Christian McCaffrey, he's the biggest threat. You know, he was only on the 49ers for a day and a half until we played him October 23rd of last year, and he was really good in the first half. Yes, the Chiefs pulled away late in the third quarter and buried him in that game. But what do you feel the Chiefs defense is going to be able to do to stop him? I mean, we stopped Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, but this is a running back, a highly touted running back who was drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
It's going to be tough as hell. Let me just say that I still think the way defenses play, the hardest thing is to stop an incredibly charismatic running quarterback that fast, that shifty. To say that it's going to be easy to stop Christian, absolutely not. But and we have had some problems stopping the run. We've given up 4 or 5 yards a carry, but we always find a way to make those adjustments. And as long as our offense with Pacheco establishes the running game, where she gets 1 or 2 big catches, and Travis, I mean, he spoiled us last 2 games. That was a Hall of Fame performance. But most importantly, we didn't turn the ball over, and that's where we win.
Well, Nick, before we let you go, and I know you got some other interviews to do and stuff like that, so I want to make sure we get your score prediction because you had an interesting one that we talked about before we went on the air. We give ours later at the end of the show, but I want to make sure we get yours before we cut you loose because, well, for one, I like it. And 2, I like the way we get there, and it's so Nick Lowery.
And can we possibly see a kicker win the MVP?
I don't know about that, but it's possible, and if he earns it, he deserves it. But last 2 weeks ago, I said we win by 7. We won by 7. This time, I think because of the experience factor, although there is the revenge factor with 4 years ago with the 49ers, I'm going 26-17. I said this on all 12 interviews today. 4 field goals by Harrison, and defense give up 2 touchdowns in the first half, then a field goal in the second. That'll be all we need.
3-1, Patrick Mahomes. That's great for his legacy. I love it.
I love it.
Thanks for having me,
Nick
on, guys.
Lowery.
Always. It's an honor.
It popped up. It happened. The stars aligned, and as we go live for Arrowhead Allies, Nick's sitting over there. I just grabbed him up. I said, it's got to happen. Sonia even said yes. She doesn't say yes to everything.
You know, she doesn't. And you guys are awesome. You're first class. Thank you. And I love the name Arrowhead Allies because we may, at times think and notice when things aren't perfect, but guess what? We're still in it for the right reasons and we'll be loyal. I always say I prefer a loyal fan of another team even than a bandwagon of our team.
Yes.
And that's what I see is our Chiefs Kingdom has grown up and is even tougher and more loyal than ever.
And you're clearly an unofficial ally for life right here. As you see, you've been immortalized.
You made the sign.
I am honored.
You're big time.
We got to take a photo and I'll put it up. I'll share it. Can you take a photo, young man?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's what he does. He's the best. He's the best Eric over here.
Yeah, man.
Do you want us all in it, Nick? Just okay.
Teammates.
Shane, Brian, you guys are going to have to give us thoughts as we take this photo with Nick Lowery.
Yeah, we'll hold it down. This could be, Shane, this could be a uniform break.
There you go.
I just want to say that. I just want to say that, look, the Chiefs looking mighty fine, mighty sharp with these uniforms we got. And I think, look, my only concern, though, is the patchwork. We got 4 patches. What Patrick does, if you got the captain patch, he has the Norma K Hunt patch. You got the Lamar Hunt patch, and look, if I run into Mr. Hunt we're gonna have a nice conversation about these uniforms too, because I'm really like we're gonna look sharp on Sunday, man.
Guys,
Amen to that.
You're the best.
I like the
you.
patches. I like how the patches look.
I do
know
too.
I know how you touched on it last week,
Hey,
but I
the
like
red
how it's all
jerseys are
confined in
beautiful, though.
there.
The
It
red-
looks great.
Hey, the red jerseys, just being up close, seeing them wearing the jerseys during their media availability today was big time. But yeah, they're beautiful. I know everybody was like, "Man, I wish we would have worn the white. We won with the white." But no, the red
Not when
jerseys
you're
are the
home.
perfect thing for the Chiefs to wear.
What are we talking about? I just came back in.
Yeah,
Apparently
we're
we're talking
talking about
jerseys
the
here.
We took a
This is a
uniform break.
loosey-goosey show here, guys. We're
I
off
love the
cuff here.
patches. Mahomes with the gold C. That thing's beautiful on there.
That's what I'm saying, man. The
Yes.
patches, like, perfect touch to
They
a Super
are.
Bowl uniform. We don't need them
Yeah.
all year, but yeah, during a bowl, give me the patches, baby.
Well, I want to say this, what I've been seeing, what you guys have done, Michael has been killing it. Clinton Noah been out there killing it
Yes.
the last day and a half. What's the last day and a half been for you three? I know I appreciate your work, and I know Chiefs Kingdom does as well. How is this experience this year different from years prior?
It's Vegas. So
Yeah.
you know, Vegas just brings a different type of energy. Even though we've been dealing with rain,
Yeah, it's horrible weather here, by the way. It's nicer in
terrible.
Kansas City, I guarantee you.
terrible, but it's been great. Like they did a great job with their event there, the opening ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
The event prior where they were feeding the media, which was amazing and big time. But just the access to have, it's like a young kid's dream that, if they can't play, that maybe they can cover sports and meet their favorite players and ask the questions that they would like to ask. I think that the NFL does a great job with this entire week, and the opening ceremony was amazing. And you actually get an opportunity. It's not like they pick and choose who can ask questions. It's like, hey, if you speak up, you have a chance, and these guys are all professional, and they allow you to, be great.
Yeah, and the media night for opening night to interview the players was great. It was at where the Super Bowl is going to be or play there at Allegiant Stadium.
Baby.
And last year in Phoenix, it was tight quarters. It was at the Footprint Center, and there just wasn't a lot of room to move around this year, much more spread out. And I think I talked to Mitch Holtis and Mike Dana about Charles Omenihu and how broken up they are for him, that he can't play in the Super Bowl, not just to help them out, but against his former team. It meant a lot to him. So the guys are definitely going to go out there and try and win this one for him.
Hey. And we're not done today. We got a party to go to after. The media party is going to be fun. I get to see Noah and Clint get loose for the Allies.
And get dressed up. You've never seen anything like it, brother.
Hey, I can't wait.
I haven't either, so I got to see it too. When I look in the mirror, I'm going to be like, wow, I've never seen this before. I'm dressed up. I'm not wearing basketball shorts and a T-shirt.
Hey, we might even swag surf, Brian. I might teach them to swag surf. So that
Taylor taught me how.
Okay, Taylor taught them, so they got it.
Although I'm heard that's not actually the swag surf.
Don't pull a hamstring now.
Clint, I noticed you when you interviewed Kadarius Toney, it was quick and it was to the point. What vibe did you get from him? Do you think that he thinks it's 50-50 that he will dress, or do you think that he feels like it is he might not? What was the vibe of Kadarius Toney during your interview?
Well, just taking the context of what he said with me in the very awkward 45 seconds that we had together, and then coupling that with the other interviews he did, it seemed kind of like his vibe was, it's up to Andy Reid. I think that in his mind that he's not probably going to be utilized in this game. I mean, I think that's kind of a common consensus right now. You'd love to see a redemption story. I love a redemption story, whether it be McCole Hardman. We've seen Marquez Valdez-Scantling. If they want to come out and do it, if Sky Moore wants to run hot dog again and go score another one, I'm not going to hate it. So they've, as Michael would say, it seems to me like they found the guys that they can trust. And
as DDT would say, we don't want you in our stadium, and they're very upset about it.
Oh, sorry, DDT. We took it over. The Chiefs logos all over the locker room.
Hey, DDT. Hey, look. We drinking up all the Gatorades. We taking all the snacks. We using your hot towel massages. We're taking your robes home. We're using everything in Allegiant Stadium. That's our stadium this week. We are the home team. But look, DDT, we just got to let this thing rest and just treat us like our AFC West brethren, okay? Mi casa es su casa. That's how you got to treat this thing, man, because, look, you don't like the 49ers either. You probably, maybe in some instances, hate them more than you hate the Chiefs. So just treat us like your AFC West brothers and let us kick our feet up a little bit on
And the
your
Raiders,
couch.
yes, the Raiders have always treated us well out here at Arrowhead
Yeah.
West. So we always come away with a victory. So thank you so much for that. And we
Hey,
enjoy the hospitality.
Brian, I call this Arrowhead Vegas, and then Arrowhead LA is there at SoFi. So
You know
hey, thank you, Raider fans, for taking care of the best team in the world. But just to go back on the McCole Kadarius thing, I think that Andy has made his mind already. I think he knows who's he going to
So have I.
utilize. I think he has his guys, and that's just what it's going to. I think the guys to be looking at is Jerick McKinnon. Like, is he going to actually play and suit up? Because he's somebody that can go in, and if he's ready to go, he can give you some snaps as a third down guy. Like, I know Clyde is going to be the third down guy, but you can get some snaps out of Jerick. He's going to be hyped up. He's playing against one of his former teams, and if he can go out and make a play or two or a huge block to help a blitz, like, I think that's a guy that can really help the team.
And Shane, you asked that question to Nick Lowery right there, kind of about Kadarius, but also you brought up Jerick McKinnon. As Clyde Edwards-Helaire was ruled inactive for the last one, and now McKinnon, a big surprise, a shock. We thought he was just gone for the season, is trying to get out there and practice and see what he can give us here in Super Bowl 58. So talk about just kind of what Michael did and go a little further with that on what the Chiefs can expect from Jerick McKinnon out there.
Oh man, I'm stoked about it. I hope he can play. Some people say it's kind of like a smoke screen, but
make them prepare for it.
What I do like, what I have heard yesterday, is that the Chiefs practiced in pads, and that they wanted to practice in pads, and they practiced in pads in the rain. That shows me that they want to be tough, because if you look at the last two games the 49ers played at home field advantage, in my opinion, I don't know what you guys think. I can't speak for you. I want you guys to speak for it as well. The Detroit Lions pushed the 49ers around. The Green Bay Packers pushed the 49ers around. What was the running back at the 49ers? I mean, the Packers, number 33, Jones.
Aaron Jones.
He ran all over him. The Lions running back ran all over him. So I think, this is just me speculating, pontificating, manipulating, I think the Chiefs, by getting out there in pads yesterday, the Chiefs, by saying, hey, we want to practice in pads in the rain, tells me they want to take a physical approach come Sunday. What do you think, Brian?
Oh, well, I'm calculating and matriculating. That's what I'm doing. Okay.
All of it.
That's what I'm doing. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing the toughness of the defense. We've seen it all playoffs, man. Chris Jones came out and said that some of the guys had frostbitten after the Dolphins game. Hell, the coaches too. So look, man, this team, right? This team is built tough from the head to the toe, from the coaching staff to the players. Because here's one thing about leadership. Leadership is an action, it's not a word. And so when you see one guy go out and do it, the HNIC, for lack of a better term, when you see 15 going out there and being tough and taking hits, that makes everybody else want to go do it. Because if the leader is doing it, I gotta follow him. I have to at least go where the bar is met, and if not, go beyond where the bar is. And so the toughness filters out from 15 to everybody else. They feed it off of him. And it's lovely to see it leak over to the defense and to the special teams and to the coaching staff and to the maintenance men and to the equipment guys. It stretches out to everybody. And that's what leadership can do. That's what 15 provides for you.
Yeah, and I brought up this point earlier, just talking about kind of what you were talking about, Shane, the Niners' run defense and getting pushed around, and how maybe Chase Young wasn't the best addition for them. They already had one guy that liked to strictly go after the quarterback and not really set the edge in the run game in Nick Bosa, and now they found another one in Chase Young. And so that's why I think the addition of Chase Young, you're seeing some leaks in their run game. They've got great linebackers, they've got some good interior, but those two guys getting after the quarterback, not setting the edge, not staying focused on, hey, we also have to stop the run here. They're giving up some big lanes.
I mean, is there a fear here that, like, as we're around Vegas and talking to people, we've interviewed people all day, and Sean Merriman and Brian Billick and former Falcons coach Mike Smith, and everybody looks at us, oh, what's your prediction? Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs. Is there a fear to that even though inexplicably the 49ers are favored in the game, that the general consensus is, oh, this is the Chiefs, this is a coronation of Patrick Mahomes? Is there a fear?
I've told you guys before, Lakers. I said Lakers. The Chiefs are the Lakers, and whenever the Lakers made it to the NBA Finals, it was always the Lakers should win. Lakers should win. You were more shocked when you saw the Lakers lose in 04 and 2008, and I think it's the same situation. As long as 15 is the quarterback, Andy Reid is the head coach, that the Chiefs are. They were the favorites in Tampa Bay. And, Brady was there, and it was a home game. It's just we didn't know that the line was going to be that terrible. Yeah. Where it looked like us five were blocking for Tom Brady, but are blocking for Mahomes. But, yeah, I just think that when you have 15, when you have Andy Reid, that you're going to get the talk of being a favorite until you are defeated. And then that's when people would talk about you more. But you have
Niners Nation. Who's going to hold Debo? L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie?
DDT. Any one of our corners. Any one of our corners can hold Debo. Debo ain't shifty like that. Can he run the ball? Yes, he can. But he can be covered.
We'll give you 5 yards on a jet sweep.
Considering Bashad Breeland and Kendall Fuller and those guys.
Yeah. Willie Gay can cover. Willie Gay can honestly cover Debo Samuel, to be honest with you.
Specifically to being confident going into the Sunday, I'm confident, but I will never be overconfident like I was when we played Tampa Bay. I almost felt sorry for the Buccaneers before kickoff because I thought we were going to road stop them. So I said to myself after that game, if the Chiefs ever go to the Super Bowl again, I will never be that overconfident. But going into this game, I really like our chances, specifically because they keep calling us the underdog. And we're the villains. What's that like covering the team that the majority of the world hates, guys? What's that like out there?
They love it. We love it. It's great.
Hey, one thing, like walking around Vegas, it's a lot of bang, bang, Niner gang. It's crazy. So it's very unique to see that when you have Travis Kelce on your team, Patrick Mahomes, these big superstars. But it just lets you know the 49er fans travel well. They always have been. They're right here in Vegas, so it's not too far from them. So I expected it to be like it is, but I just think that this is something that's added to the belt of a Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, to say usually it's kind of like neutral, but now it's like these guys are clearly the most loved, and we want to make their fans be quiet. What did Trav tell a guy? Like, I love the booing. Keep it coming, So I think it's great that this team is took on this role as a villain.
But Brian, I want to ask you this because we know I'm all about Patrick Mahomes' legacy. I know we all are, but I keep talking about it and worrying about it, needing to be 3-1 versus 2-2 to catch Tom Brady. So would this be a real big hit to Mahomes' legacy, losing to a 7th-round Mr. Relevant quarterback? I asked the wrong person. Somebody else.
No. But like, I mean, I had to think about it for a second, and it's no, because Tom Brady lost to Nick Foles.
True. Good point.
We don't. I don't look at Tom Brady. I don't look at that as a dent in his armor. LeBron's lost finals, and people still like to put him above Jordan, which I thought would never happen in my lifetime. But with that being said, man, look, Patrick Mahomes, time is on his side right now in regards to just this specific goal with trying to catch Tom Brady. But I think he's already caught Tom Brady in one thing, and that's the first half of the career. I think he's better than on pace than trying to, perhaps get 7 rings and get to that point. But as far as losing, no. And we got to come back to it being a team sport and look at the totality of if that were to happen, why?
Yeah, that's context.
If Patrick Mahomes throws 3 interceptions and 2 of them are pick sixes or something like that, okay, maybe then, perhaps it might be a dent. But if it's just a team loss to a great 49er team, and this brings me back to the point I wanted to make earlier, this game feels similar to me to last year's game. Everybody's hyping up the big bad team, this 49ers team. They got this weapon, they got that weapon, they got Christian McCaffrey, they got a great coaching staff, blah, 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 blah. And it was the same thing with the Eagles last year. It was the same thing. It was the big bad Eagles, their defensive line. They're going to dominate our O-line. They're going to, sack Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes with his ankle. He ain't, it's just another opportunity for Patrick Mahomes to silence the critics again. But the only difference between this year and last year is I do think the Chiefs have a little bit more respect, but out of that respect comes where people hate us, because they can't help but respect the greatness of Patrick Mahomes and what he's done on his resume thus far. So that's the difference for me. But I'm seeing similar situations to last year with the Eagles team.
Yeah, you made a good point there about the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl with Nick Foles, and context matters when you lose a Super Bowl. I think Tom Brady threw for a record amount of yards in that loss, so it's not like, hey, that loss was on Tom Brady. So context definitely matters.
Well, just like point. The win, but a lot of the wins weren't on Tom Brady either.
The defense and Vinatieri.
True. He threw for 200 yards against the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55, and so I mean, I think that sometimes it goes hand in hand, sometimes it doesn't. But guys, we've got some events coming up. We have to get to our predictions here.
Yeah, it's
time to do that. It's the Super Bowl 58 edition, and I still got to think about it. So I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna your person's gonna start.
Okay. Well, I've got this one 30-20. I think the Chiefs win by 10. I think that Niners defense is leaky. I think they're going to hit them with Pacheco early, and then they're going to be coming up with answers for that. And then we open up the passing game, and Kelsey's going to be getting his, as he's really come alive these last two playoff games. Setting records. I mean, breaking Jerry Rice records. It's just going to continue in this game. While Warner and Greenlaw are great linebackers, I don't think any just single linebacker, single safety can match up against Travis Kelce one-on-one. And even if you use bracket coverage, now we got a guy like Rashee Rice coming up, and I just think there's too much. And that Chiefs defense is not going to give up more than 20 points. That's not what they do. And they better get their points in the first half, because we know in the second half, this defense locks you down. You can maybe get 7. That's the most we can give you. So hopefully you're within striking distance of 7. If not, then this game's over. So I got 30-20 Chiefs. Shane, what do you say?
I tell you what, like I said earlier, the fact that the Chiefs players wanted to practice yesterday in pads in the rain.
And it was cold. It was cold here.
Yeah. That speaks volumes that freaking, I'm sure Marty Schottenheimer is looking down above. He's probably crying seeing that, just because he's so proud that this team that's playing for dynasty wants to be tough, wants to be physical, and sees how the 49ers have played their last 2 games at their own stadium. This is our time, fellas. Travis Kelce has often spoke at how much he hated losing that Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl. I know Clinton Noah walked out of there dejected as well. I feel for you, but it hurt.
Start of the fourth quarter.
I feel even more for Travis Kelce. This team is playing great. What they've done the last 3 weeks, since I think the Raiders loss was the best thing to happen to this team. Because if we're watching every week of the show, we're like, yeah. But the best thing that happened was they lost that game on Christmas to the Raiders the way they lost. Because since then, they've been physical, they have been tough, they have been smart, and the defense has taken it to another level. I'm with you, Noah, but I'm going to go 1 point higher. Chiefs 31, the 49ers 20. What do you say, Michael?
You took my score, man.
It's okay.
I think 31. I think 31-20. Yeah, we're allies. We can share scores. But 31-20, I just think that the way that this defense is playing, I'm actually going to go out on the limb and say that Chris Jones is going to win the Super Bowl MVP. I think that he's going to play an amazing game. It's possibly his final game wearing this beautiful red Chiefs jersey, and that it's going to be a problem for them to deal with. Other than Trent Williams on their line, I can't really tell you much about their O-line, and I think that Chris Jones is like, hey, I'm trying to prove to people I'm the best D tackle. I deserve the greatest contract you ever seen for a defensive tackle, and he's going to earn it with this performance. Patrick Mahomes is going to be clean. He realized I don't have to go out and throw the ball around the field. I can be safe. I can make plays when need be, and that the defense is going to cause a turnover or two. The Chiefs offense is going to protect the ball. 31-20, Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowl championships, baby.
Brian has picked the 49ers. My God.
Oh, my God.
We waited for it.
Excuse me, but I wasn't the one in the middle of the season and in the playoffs picking different teams. I am the Lynn Dawson of the Inside the NFL of Star K Media. I know Brian is picking the Chiefs under any circumstance, okay? But to be more specific with this game, I think the Niners will move the ball in between the 20s, Christian McCaffrey, Debo is a lot to deal with. But I do see them coming up short on a lot of those possessions. And I see a lot of those possessions ending in field goals. And I think the Chiefs can get up on these 49ers in that first half, just as if the Packers did in a divisional round, just like the Lions did in the NFC Championship game. The difference is this defense is going to hold the fort down. They're not going to allow the 49ers to score much in the second half. I'm guessing maybe 2 possessions of scores, maybe 2 field goals in the second half. You look at the second half scoring the Chiefs have done in this playoffs, it speaks for itself. I got the Chiefs winning this game. What are the Chiefs going to score? I'm feeling 24 for the Chiefs, 24-16. Chiefs get the win, and Patrick Mahomes gets his 3rd Super Bowl MVP.
I'm going to call this the Skip Bayless Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs, because what Skip Bayless's knock on Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's won 2 Super Bowls, but he's not had a good one yet. He's not played well in one. It may not be spectacular. I'm not going to say it's a 330-yard, 4-touchdown performance, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be an efficient quarterback in this game. He's going to be one that does not turn the ball over in this game. And at the end of it, like Brian said, like a lot of us have said, this has 3-time Super Bowl MVP written all over it, and a victory that's going to propel him and put this team not only onto the precipice of immortality, but into that stratosphere that we've all longed for, that we've all dreamt of, that we thought was impossible. And it's going to happen on Sunday. The Kansas City Chiefs win this game, and they win it 23-20, a close game. Ooh. And a last-second field goal wins the game for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I love it, man. And we got to thank the fans. We got a show after the Super Bowl. We want to thank everyone in the comments, everybody watching, asking questions all season long. We've got great comments in here. We got Carla Betts coming out here. Our defense has been on point, and the offense has improved since the beginning of the season. They're ready to fight for their right to Lombardi. So we love it here, and we love everyone tuning in and watching. Yeah. Make sure you're following on Starcade Media, and we're here on Super Bowl Radio Row. We bring you all the content all season long, and we cannot thank you enough for making this show what it is.
Excellent, man.
Yeah,
I'm so stoked.
Big love. Thank you. For real. We're nothing without the viewers. So we appreciate everybody locking us in and tuning us in. Because you could have been doing something else, but you're here with us.
Thank you, Tony Russell, John Harrison, Kenneth Caldwell, everybody else that keeps joining us consistently. Next week, let's freaking party it up next Tuesday here. Noah Clint and Michael got to go to a party while me and Brian be shining stay here in Kansas City.
No, Brian's coming down. Brian's coming down Thursday.
We have not found a good way to get
here.
It's been a disaster. We can never just end one, good fashion. It's our bugaboo. It's our muse. It's our darndest thing.
It makes us unique, though. I love it.
People think the show's over, and then they're like, wait, no, it's not. But now it is. Go Chiefs!